In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up fields and content types in your Drupal 8 installation. Content is the way that items are organized within a Drupal site and how you can display information on your Drupal site. So to begin, you'll need to go to Administration and then go to Content Types, and then you're going to add a content type. And so I'm going to add the basic page. Now, if you chose the standard installation instead of minimal installation when creating your Drupal site, the basic page and the article content types will already exist. So you will not have to do this particular step. However, since I chose the minimal installation, I'm having to do this step. So I named it basic page, and then I'm going to give it a description of a page with static content. And so you can label the title field whatever you want. I'm going to leave it as title. And then you can also set that the option to whether people have to preview their submission before they submit it. I'm going to leave this as optional. Going to the publishing options, I'm going to make sure that it is set to by default be published, whatever is created. And I'm going to uncheck the promoted to front page option. Sticky at top of list, I'm going to leave this unchecked. This particular option makes sure that this particular content always shows at the top of a list, whether that's in a view or something similar. So uncheck that option, and then I want to create content revisions so that I can go back and look at previous versions of this particular page. However, if you have no need for this, you can uncheck this option. And then going to the display settings, I'm actually going to uncheck the display and author information. Because of the fact I do not need this information for just a static page. And then I'm going to save the content type. And so you see here, I now have the content type and I can edit it. And if I don't need this content type anymore, I can go down here and press delete and remove it. Now we can add fields to a content type. So to do that, you need to make sure you have the Field UI module turned on. So you need to go back to the administration page, then click extend, and then you're going to look for the Field UI module. You're going to check that, and then go down to the bottom and click install. And so now the Field UI module has been turned on. So you'll go back to the administration page and then go to the structure and then content types. And then you're going to do manage fields. And then up here at the top, you'll see there's a manage field link. You'll want to click that to add a field. By default, when you create a content type, it will automatically come with the body field. So I'm going to add another field. And then I'm going to select the field type. So let's say I want to put in a number. Let's say this is a just some sort of content of, no particular type. And then so I have to give it a label. And so this label is what it will show up as. So we'll just call it dollar amount. And if you want to edit the machine name, you can. Usually, unless you have conflicting fields or names that are, your field names are pretty similar, the default machine name that it comes up with is usually pretty sufficient. So then you click save amount. You click save and continue, and then you can select the number of times this particular field is used on a particular content. So I'm going to set this to 1 as the number of values it should receive. And then you get a final page where this allows you to set this whether it is a required field or not. And then you can also enter help text in here. So I'm going to say enter the whole dollar amount. And then you can also set the minimum and maximum. So I'm going to set the minimum at 0. And there is no maximum, so I'm going to leave it there. And then you can put a prefix and a suffix. So we like the $ in front of our dollar amount. So I'm going to put the $ in as the prefix. And then I'm going to, if you want, you can, since this is supposed to be a whole dollar amount, you can actually put .00 to represent the cents at the end of it. And then you click Save Settings. And so now we have our field type of dollar amount, which is a number integer. And so we can go in and add as many more fields as need be. If you want to add another text field, you can do that. Just go down here under text and we'll call it free text and then do save and continue. And then you can set the maximum length. The default length is 255, which I will leave that at that, and set the number of values equal to 1. And I'm not going to make this required or any inner help text of any sort, and then save the settings. And so now we have our body. Now, if you don't need the body field, you can actually delete this body field or do something else with it if you don't want it. So next we'll go to the form display. So the form display represents how this form will appear when you are editing the content. So you can move these up or down in any order. If I don't want something, again, you do that on the Manage Fields page. And then also there are some options that have multiple. So for this one where something is checked for a checkbox or a selection, you can do a single checkbox, or you can use radio buttons. I'm gonna change this one to radio buttons for the sake of demonstration, and then I'm gonna save. And then the last page is to manage the display. So this is when a user goes to view this particular content, what is the order of that content? So you can actually move these around in the order. So I'm gonna actually put the body field at the bottom. And then the label, which is the text that shows here, you can actually have it show above or inline, or you can actually just hide it altogether. And then some options like the dollar amounts here, you see there's a default and unformatted. And then the same thing for here, where you can actually show the summary or trim. So they have different various formatting options that are available. And if you don't want a field to actually show on the view page, so kind of like a hidden field, you can move it down here to the disabled section. And so it will still show on the form display where it can be edited from when the content is created or updated. However, somebody's just viewing the page will not be able to see it if it's down here in the disabled section. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to demonstrate this in a second. So next we'll go to the add content link under tools. And so if you click add content and you have multiple content types, then you will be given the option to select which content type that you want to create. Since I only have one content type, it automatically knows that to go to that content type. So it actually redirected me to the basic page. So this is how you go and create new content. So I'm gonna call this the first page, and I'm gonna set the dollar amount to 50. And as you see, the prefix here is the $, and the suffix is the .00 for representing the cents. And then we also have our help text here, which is enter the whole dollar amount. And then next we have our free text field. As you know, we did not put in a help text in that one, and we also did not make it required. So it does not have the red star that's denoted like the dollar amount does and the title does. So this text we can actually leave blank. And then in the body field, I'm going to put this is the body field. And so that is there. There are multiple text formats that can be used on the body field. However, I do not have any text format set up at this time, so I don't get that option to change the text formatting. So it does the default, which is plain text, will not allow any HTML tags of any sort. So since I did select the create revision option, I have the option to enter in a revision message for this particular one. However, this is not required, so I'm gonna leave that blank. And then the authoring information, so it's authored by myself, and then you can enter in the date and time other than what it originally was put into. And then the promotion option, so you can select promoted to the front page or also the sticky list. And then here is the option that we changed from a checkbox to a radio option. And so this is the publish field. So if you wanted this content to be published, meaning it can be viewed by anybody that has access to the website, you select this to on. If you only want it to be viewed by certain people or kept private, you select this to off. And so then at the bottom we have save and preview. If you save it, it will actually take you directly to the content. It will also save it. And then if you do preview, it will actually generate a preview of what this content looks like. And so you see here, just the dollar amount is here. The title, as you see up here, is first page, which is what I named it. And then you also have these viewing options where you view the full page or you view what is known as the teaser page. And then once you're done, you actually go back to content editing, and then you click save at the bottom to actually save your content. And so you get the confirmation status that the first page has been created, and you see here that is represented by dollar amount. And then also the title of the page is up here in the upper section where it is. And so if you need to edit this page, you can go here and click edit. And also you see there's also the option to delete this page. And so as you also notice that the body field did not show up on the page, and that's because we have it hidden. So we can now go back here and edit and change this dollar amount to 75. And this will create a new revision. And so we'll say that the revision message for this one is a price hike. And then we will save it. And so now the dollar amount has been updated to the dollar amount has been updated to $75. And now we also have a revisions tab that has now become available. And so the current version of this page is shown here. And if you click it, it will actually take you to that particular revision. However, if you want to look at a previous revision, you just go to the date and time for which that was entered. You'll see that the previous revision had the dollar amount of 50. And over here on the right hand side, it also has you the option to revert. So you can actually roll this back to the previous revision of this particular content type or page. Or you can also delete that particular revision as well by clicking delete, which you will then get a confirmation. So I'm actually going to cancel that to leave that there. So this concludes the tutorial on how to set up and create content type with fields. If you have any questions, please drop those in the comment section below. Please consider subscribing if you would like to be notified of future tutorial videos with Drupal 8 and any other content on my website. And also please consider subscribing to me on Instagram and Twitter at almostengr. Thanks.